Hello Ashlings, welcome back to the Phoenix Nest. I'm your host Zeke the Phoenix, and today we're talking about the Rogue archetype in Ashes of Creation. Rogue is the class I've mained for years, and only in Ashes have I decided to switch my focus to the Bard. However, should Bard not be enjoyable, I will surely return to the Rogue as my runner-up. But first, let's list off the names for the Rogue class combos. First, we've got the Duelist, the Rogue Fighter. Next, we've got the Shadow Guardian, the Rogue Tank. Third, we've got the Assassin, the Rogue Rogue. Fourth, we've got the Predator, Rogue Ranger. Fifth is the Night Spell, the Rogue Mage. Sixth is Shadow Lord, Rogue Summoner. Seventh is Coldest, Rogue Cleric. And last is Charlatan, Rogue Bard. First up, we've got the Duelist. I'm expecting this class to be what its name implies, and be a heavily 1v1 focused class, likely stronger in PvP than PvE, as well as smaller scale PvP focus. However, I doubt this class would be useless in large scale, as it will likely be able to single people out in some manner with CCs, or maybe even some kind of skill that forces a 1v1, kind of similar to the Guild Wars 2 Thieves had. I would expect this class to have a weapon proficiency in many non-traditional stealthy weapons like single-handed maces, long swords, or dual short swords, or maybe even bows and staves. Next up, we've got the Shadow Guardian. I'm getting some SWTOR Darkness Assassin vibes from this one, but since its primary is the Rogue, it'll probably feature less tanking and more general survivability skills. I'd love to see debuff or dot removal skills, shadow shields, and just overall less squishy rogues for this one. Maybe this will have the most control skills such as AoE slows, and group utilities such as some kind of evasion boost for your whole group. This one could also have some references to Shadow Knights from EQ2, with an emphasis on self-healing to live longer. Next up, we've got the Assassin. As the Rogue, this one will definitely be doubling down on the archetype. Having likely the most escapes like stealth and vanishes, I think being an Assassin will be a very strong hit and run class, as it should be. In my experience, this sort of class tends to be extremely strong burst damage, but they could also go the route of a dot class where the dots stack up the longer the fight lasts, until it's something your opponent can't heal through. This will be for the folks who want to equip some daggers and stab. Next, we've got the Predator. This is the one rogue archetype we've already been shown. It's got a healthy balance between being a rogue and a ranger. It looks to be the longer range version of what I would expect the Assassin to be. Longer range, high burst skills, as well as the capability of going toe to toe with people in melee range, should you not have the space available to kite or ambush people. Also, it's so obviously a reference to the Alien in the Predator movie, I almost think they'd add a self-destruct and a shoulder-mounted potion launcher. For the fifth, we've got the Night Spell. This one is tough, as normally rogues and mages are separated quite a bit since they usually counter the other. Being a middle ground makes me think it will maybe just be a rogue that can call upon darkness spells to increase survivability and to assist getting in and out of combat easily. Things like shadow stepping instantly to your target's back, or causing your vanish to root your attackers should you become overwhelmed. We'll have to see what more they might add once we get more information on subclasses. But one of the things I think might be cool is if they have some sort of intangibility ability that can be added to their existing stealth. Now for the Rogue Summoner, the Shadow Lord. This one, like the Shadowcaster from my Summoner video, I expect to be the Naruto Rogue. Shadow clones are a strong likelihood. I would hope to see the clones be able to deal good damage and even be able to be substituted should you need to escape, such as how a ninja would turn into a stump or another object when they escape from a fatal blow. Next up is the Coldest. Being the Cleric subclass, expect lots of self-heals, leech abilities, and maybe even healing circles that heal anyone who walks inside. A mechanic I suspect they will have is that they might use their own HP or their enemies to heal themselves or their allies by a smaller amount than a Cleric primary might. I'd also love to see the ability to use skills based on what divine god you choose to follow. Lastly, we've got the Charlatan. Similar to my idea for the Trickster, I'd like to see some spells that can change how the enemy sees you, similar to the TF2 Spy. This one could also be a strong debuff class that makes it harder for enemies to evade skills and help your own team with buffs to their hit or crit chances, with the idea being that they'd know the deck is stacked in their favor, like a con artist might give to their friends. Well, that covers the Rogue archetype's class combos. Rogue is near and dear to my heart as it's the class archetype I've played more than any other in any MMO. I really hope they can keep this class viable in more than just small scale PvP though, because many MMOs force rogues to be 1v1 classes only, and in large scale they tend to get eaten alive by the heavy AoE classes that instantly break them out of stealth at a distance, kinda like in Wildstar. The biggest concern I have of the rogue so far is that their stealth is a glimmer effect instead of true stealth, of being completely invisible. And in a game with action combat and lots of AoEs, if they are visible whatsoever from a distance while stealthed, they will be completely non-viable classes. That said, I also wouldn't want them to make them so overpowered that they could practically one-shot a target with backstabs, or be impossible to break out of stealth at all. I just hope for a good balance in between. Well, that's about all I'd like to say about rogues today. If you have any ideas or speculation you want to share, drop a comment down below and maybe our ideas might inspire the devs. Remember to like, subscribe, and follow me on Phoenix Zeke on Twitch, and I'll see you when you return to the nest.